Warren Williams. Yeah, you're picking up. I can see right here on the mixing board.
Beautiful.
So I'm sitting here, we're at the show, and Warren starts talking to me about what he does. And we had somebody on earlier, talks about product specific data points that pull data to tell you what people like and don't like about your product. Nobody's going to articulate this better for what Warren does. It's really cool. In some ways, it's just as important because how you advertise what, because I got shit tons of media just playing right behind you.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, I mean, I don't know what, I'm a filmmaker, but I'm trying to edit what I was telling a story, but I'm just a human being.
Yeah.
Take it away, man. Tell me what you do, because you articulated. He's also from Puerto Rico, or he's living in Puerto Rico. This is kind of a cool twist, a little backstory. We'll get into that, but tell me about what you do.
Of course. Thanks. Yeah. So, I built a piece of software that, pulls data from your ad platforms, Meta, TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Reddit, kind of whatever you've got. And the thesis of the project was that all of the data exists to tell us what's working within creative assets, right? So in the industry today, there's like this kind of creative director or creative analyst position. And that's really somebody just manually going through and kind of making assumptions about what's working and why it's working to draft like what we call a creative brief to, hand to their creative team to say, this is the type of assets that we need to make. And the big thing with that is, one, it's very manual. And two, there's a lot of kind of user discretion. There's a lot of variability in just kind of what you're feeling, or you might not see all of the assets. If you have 1,000 assets, you might look through 100 and make your assumption because you don't have, 10 hours to go look through all the assets. So the really cool thing about software is that it can do all of that for you, and it can connect those dots for you and do it a lot more accurately, a lot faster. So computer vision is essentially a piece of software that looks at images and videos and adds metadata to those assets. And we connect that metadata to the performance KPIs, to the performance metrics. So we can make assumptions across large sets of assets and say, these for, let's say you're a beer company and you've got, 20 assets of a guy at the beach and 20 assets of a guy at the park. The computer vision can find those patterns and say, all of these assets have the theme in common, that they're at the beach. They have a glass bottle of beer in the sand.
Yeah.
Can find the commonalities there and attach those to KPIs and say, this theme is outperforming all of these other themes.
Wow.
So that's the big thing. That's the pitch. That's what we do. We use that, pass that data into a language model that generates a creative brief, and then you can hand that to your creative team or agency, and then they can go execute on that. Right. So it's basically actual data backed creative media.
That's poetic because our guy that was here with an agency that we might hire, he just walked away, and you're sitting here talking about that. I'm like, he'd be the guy that I would hand all this data to and say, you know what? This is the data we come up with. They should be using you already if they're worth their salt, because this sounds like something that makes sense to me. I love data, but data is only potential power.
Yeah.
It's what you do with that data. And then you have the KPIs, you have actions, you have actionable points.
Exactly. Yeah. So the creative brief gives you actionable points. It says, when you iterate on this asset, you do this, and this.
You created a software.
Yeah, I wrote every line of code myself. Yeah.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's sexy to me. That's
fun. It's a great product. Myself, I'm a truly just a software engineer that's been brought into the paid media space. My partner in the business is a ex agency guy. Been in the space for 10 plus years. Really knows his stuff. So that's where I've learned all of this. That's how we partnered up on this, and then we basically built out an offering and are helping a few clients right now, just doing the full end-to-end cycle ourselves. Right. So we brought on a media creator, somebody who creates creative assets. We brought on a manager that goes and runs the campaigns. And so we're just directly kind of acting as both a tech platform, as a software solution that people can subscribe to. And then they can also hire us to execute on those actions. And in the future, we're looking into things in the Gen AI space to actually generate assets. And right now, Gen AI is at the point where you can kind of use it to create drafts and then edit those drafts, and it can save you some time. But as that technology kind of adapts and advances, we're like on the forefront of that. So we can be the first ones actually taking our AI generated insights and using that brief to prompt generative AI to build you the perfect asset for your campaign.
I get it. It's awesome. Just give me one last thing. Case studies. You got a good case study for this?
Yeah. We helped, there's a company called Earthside Farms. We helped them immensely. They're a snacks company, also based out of Puerto Rico. They started using the app. They weren't very big into paid media. They're just going through normal distribution cycles. They got into paid media. They hired a creative director, weren't seeing great ROIs, hooked up to creative app, got some insights out of it, and then hired us to run their paid media and saw a great boost in ROI. So
do you know what the X, have they gone up X?
Overall, off the top of my head, I don't know. We've got their highest performing assets though.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
by
awesome.
far. Yeah, within 10 days, it was like a 60%
It makes sense.
boost.
I just love this kind of stuff. Makes sense. Tell everybody how they can find them.
Creativeapp.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Warren Williams. Google us. We're out there.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Great stuff. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us. Gear up for your next adventure and head over to Bolotor.com to check out the amazing Bolo Pack and their other innovative outdoor gear. Catch you next time.